All right, time now is 1:22 p.m. On June 8th. Woo! So yeah, I slept from 3 to 1. But it was a rough sleep. I think I woke up like 3 times in the middle. I woke up at some point at around 10 a.m. I woke up at around 12 and I was like, okay, for sure I'll wake up, and then I fell back asleep. And of course, after I turned on the aircon at 3 a.m., someone had to turn it off. So I woke up at 3:30 just to turn it back on. So yeah, I had some interesting dreams. But nothing that's like too out of the world and weird and vivid. Um, Last night I watched half of Rushmore. I got so sleepy that I just couldn't stand it, so I went to bed. But that's pretty much it. So today is gonna be a fun day because I'm going to visit Ken's apartment. We're gonna Uber to Aero Theater, one of the best theaters of all times, and we're going to watch a double feature of Bellatar with Q&A in the middle, and it's going to be great and fantastic. Um, and it's going to be fun and explosive, and yay, I love films. But because of that, I have to leave my place at around like like 5:40 or something, which means that right now I pretty much only have around 4 hours to do whatever I need to do, and I won't have time to have dinner at all. So I will eat like a cinnamon roll right now, and then I'll just cook myself dinner and eat it at around 4 and pretend that it's lunch, and then I'll eat something again after I return home from the cinemas. Um, that's the plan. I want to handle the IEC thing. I texted Bree last night, but with no response yet. But I'll handle it myself. I'll send IEC a resume and everything. And hopefully I get a job there. And then I want to edit my short film. Yeah, I really want to know how Leslie would feel if she sees my short film. I really want to know, but you know, we'll see. So you know, I keep thinking about Leslie because I love her, and I think this is just as intense of a love as Mary's, but this feels different. With Mary, it's like a beggar reaching his arms out to God. With Leslie, it's just a girl, a mortal girl, but someone who you just really want to stick with, you know. This is different because I and Leslie arguably are in the same power level. But to be fair, as of now, she's a bit more powerful than me. But then, like, emotionally speaking and intelligently speaking, street smart speaking, like, I and Leslie are on the same playing field. Um, I, yeah, I, So something really interesting happened, I guess, and that is Michelle was at CMD today to prepare for a CMD showcase, the haunted, scorched place that I don't think I'll ever return until a long time later, a place that I departed on day 8 of the shoot and just walked away. Um, and Michelle went there, and of course Leslie's there. And Leslie came up to Michelle and asked about me. Leslie was like, "How's Enoch?" And I just asked Michelle if she could tell me more, and she said she wants to call me. So I'm like, okay, so I'll call her later. But ooh, yeah, this is why we're on the same level playing field. You know, I wouldn't say she's in love with me, but if she keeps asking people about me, and if I'm on her mind, at least I'm worth something. At least to a degree, she has some feelings towards me, and I feel like part of it is because I really kept a distance. Like during the shoot, I sort of ignored her, and she started to realize that that's kind of an issue. Um, and I think that made her like me more. Um, Also, given how fucking serious I looked at the end. Like, if I looked like shit and I looked like a weakling, then maybe she would have fallen out of love. But I feel like to a degree she likes me. I feel like to a degree, I fucking love her, okay? I want to be with her. Like, I want to hear her voice and see her face every day. But I can't. And again, it's okay. I can endure pain. I'm having pain right now, and I feel fine. Because I can endure it, because I'm so used to it. But she can't. So now she's suffering, and I've won, you know? I've won the fucking game. So yeah, we'll see. But I like that it's mutual, at least. You know, I have feelings for her, and she has feelings for me. I know she has feelings for me. She probably doesn't know if I have feelings for her. She probably thought I fell out of love. Dude, I don't fall out of love that easily. But yeah, she's fucking stupid, you know. If you want to talk to me, just download WhatsApp again. Speak to me on Instagram or something. If you have deleted all your social media platforms, then how the fuck do you want to speak to me? You know? Like, what's your plan now? Like, I'm not the one at fault. You are the one at fault. You're the one who's, like, not doing something. So, come on. Do something. So, yeah. That's the plan. Alright, time now is 3:57. So, a bunch of very interesting events transpired, I guess. First of all, let's talk about the scam call and then Leslie. So, first of all, yeah, right off the bat in the morning, I received like 15 scam calls. Like a non-stop, like 20 calls or something. And at some point, I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll listen. Because here's the thing, while I normally do not believe in calls like this, and I usually just like turn them away and whatever, but sometimes the school may call me, or like the bank may call me, and I actually miss it, which is bad. So, I picked it up, and it's a guy speaking in Mandarin, and I immediately turn it off. I don't want to have anything to do with that. And that guy, the same number called me. Okay, so maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something important. So I picked it up, I'm like, hi, and he asked if this is Lai, Mr. Lai. What? And I'm like, yes. And he said, this is Enoch Lai, right? And I'm like, yes. Okay, so this is weird. This is serious. How do they know me? How do they know my name? Something's up. So, apparently, they asked me if, my email address is blah, 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 at gmail.com. And I'm like, maybe? And they asked me if my address is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yes? And they said, okay, so on May 20th, 10:28 a.m. in the morning, somebody used your personal information in an AT&T counter at the Hunan Changsha Airport. What? And so, first of all, that's weird because I don't fucking use AT&T. I use T-Mobile. Fuckwads. So I'm like, okay, then what's the issue? And they said, it appears somebody used your personal information, your number, your email, and your address. And I'm like, what? And so I started to get a little scared. And they're like, okay, so it appears that somebody impersonated you. So I'm going to... And they spoke in Mandarin the whole time, and I'm not very fluent in Mandarin, so I would say I didn't pick up maybe like 60% of what they're saying. And so he said, I'm gonna hand your phone number and your personal information to the Changsha police station. Now that is a huge fucking red flag, because in the last few months I've been hearing a lot about these secret overseas Chinese police stations, fucking Fuzhou station, Shenzhen stations, all over the world. They found one in New York, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's one in LA. And so this is getting a little creepy, and I'm like, okay, and that guy keeps repeating. So this phone call went on for almost half an hour. Um, I hung up and they called back, and it went on for like 20 minutes, 20 something minutes in total. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna speak to someone else about this issue, and then I'll call back. Okay. And then that person was like, why are you calling someone else? Why are you telling this to someone else? Don't tell this to someone else. It's personal. And then I'm like, okay, then why is this happening? And he said, oh, do you take photos on your phone? Do you take photos of your own passport? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, you got to delete them. Right now it's high technology, and it's really easy to hack into someone's phone like that. And I'm like, okay, so should I delete them? And he's like, yeah. So again, for a moment, he's kind of trustable, but then the moment he starts getting a little weird about me telling someone else this, it's starting to get weird. So I hung up the phone randomly. And the first things first, I reached out to my mom. I texted her, it's like 5 a.m. in Hong Kong, and I texted her, hey, can I call? It's emergency. And I just left a voice message, and then I don't know who to call because I don't want to wake up my mom, so I called my grandma, who just so happens to be free on her iPad or something. I called her, I told her what's happening, and she freaked out. My grandma panicked and was like, never take those calls. Why are you so silly? Why are you so stupid? Never ever do that again. Now, they may have your bank account, they may have your bank account numbers and everything. You should immediately go to the bank and tell them to cut down your account right now. And at that moment, I was pretty scared. But I thought, okay. I didn't even give them my bank account information. So a little bit later, I immediately called Chase. And I said, oh, I just received a couple of scam calls. If there's anything weird going on, like, could you just cut down the account or something? And they said, if there are any weird suspicious transactions, Chase will alert me first, because we have a Chase alert system, and then I will receive a text, and then after that, I can choose to shut down the account. Yeah, so that's that. So I ended up not cutting down my bank account. And then my mom called, and I spoke with my mom about this. And also throughout the whole call, the scam call, I actually secretly recorded it with my computer voice recorder. And it's not very clear, but I tried my best to record it. And it's just really weird because that guy keeps on repeating the same stuff again and again. And that guy's like, okay, give us about 30 seconds to a minute. We'll process your information. Why do we have to wait? And then I cut off. And the moment I cut off that scam call, they kept trying to call back like 30 times. And each time with a different number, from Texas, from New York, from whatever. Weird number that doesn't exist, doesn't have a country code. And it's very creepy and weird. And I called my grandma back. I called my mom, and my mom's like, well, did you give them your bank information? And I'm like, no. And my mom said, okay, then you should be good. But I said, they have my phone number and address and email address and everything. And my mom's like, well, if you've purchased something on Amazon, or if you had paid rent, then it would make sense that they would find out. And I'm like, okay. And I wouldn't be surprised that it's like a TripleLink thing, because TripleLink is a Chinese RAN thing, and maybe they somehow had some connections to this. But yeah, so I was scared for a moment, but right now I think it's safe, because if they already have the information they need, why the hell do they need to call me back? They don't have the information they need, which is my bank number, my bank account number and everything. They don't. I didn't give them anything. Even when they asked me like, oh, what's your address? Is your address blah, 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 blah? I was like, I'm not sure. And they asked me if I'm a citizen in Changsha. And I'm like, no, I live somewhere else. And I'm living in the US right now. And he's like, yeah, I know you're in the US, but where do you live before? And I didn't give them an answer. Because I feel like if I tell them I'm from Hong Kong, everything would be way worse. So that's my main concern, actually. The moment they mentioned Changsha Police Station, it was kind of scary. And I'm like, and they keep on saying, oh, I gotta give this information to someone else. And I'm like, the Changsha Police Station? And they're like, yes. That's a huge red flag. And my biggest concern isn't even my money being stolen. My biggest concern is that I would be assassinated or disappeared, imprisoned, suicided, because I have said some pro-Hong Kong stuff and the secret Chinese police station in LA would hunt me down and kill me, which is still something that I really, like, I'm low-key scared of. I'm happy that I'm in West LA. If I'm in East LA, honestly, it's a lot more scarier there. Yeah, holy shit, so there's that. But I should be in safe hands. Let's not be dramatic. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is Michelle. I had a call with her for about 5 minutes. She's in CMD right now, setting up for the CMD showcase. Apparently, tonight they're going to screen like 4 or 5 short films from Film 33, and you know, it's going to be a showcase thing. You know, it's going to be a, hey, what's up thing. And apparently a bunch of people are going. Birkin's going, and a bunch of people from My Film 33 is going. However, I'm not going because I don't want to, because CMD is a haunted fucking place. And also, you know, like just memories, you know. Jonathan isn't going. He literally said that on his Instagram story. But Michelle ran into Leslie, and Leslie said hi. And Michelle's like, hey, how are you doing? And no, Leslie's like, how are you doing? And Michelle's like, alive, just barely surviving. And then Leslie's like, oh, by the way, how's Enoch doing? And Michelle said, oh, he's doing good. And and then Leslie proceeded to tell Michelle everything about how I spent a whole hour confessing my love to her and stuff like that. And Michelle's like, okay, then what are you going to do about it? And she's like, I'm not sure. He's not talking to me. And Michelle's asking, why isn't he talking to you? And Leslie's like, well, I'm not talking to him right now because he's not talking to me. So she's not sure. So there's that. Which is both heartening and disheartening. Heartening because she still remembers this. Like, it is an important event for her. I think the fact that on May 20th, I really like cried in front of her and confessed my love to her. It was so emotionally intense. It was such an emotionally raw thing to happen that it really left a strong mark on her. Like, even if we end up never dating, like, at least this event will forever haunt her till the day she dies, which is a great thing. I think I lasted some form of impact. But also a little disheartening because she says she's not sure. She isn't like, oh yeah, I want to date him. But let me remind you, Leslie said she's not sure to Michelle, knowing that Michelle is one of my closest friends. So of course, in front of a close friend of Enoch's, you wouldn't tell that close friend that you want to date him. So maybe she does want to date me. She just couldn't say it to her. Because Benny, who is not this close to me and is a guy, Leslie told him that she would go on to a date with me. And then to Ariel, who is a girl, Leslie simply smiled and shrugged, because Ariel isn't that close to me, but she's also a girl. And so, you know, Leslie's not stupid, but I have outsmarted her officially. The thing is, how does she expect me to talk to her when she have deleted all her fucking socials? There's no way for me to reach out to her, even if I want to. So, I mean, it's her fault that we're blocked, because she literally isn't speaking to me on Instagram or WhatsApp anymore. So, yeah, kind of goofy, I know. Alright, I am walking towards Ken's place. Hopefully we get some food together. Yeah. Apparently there's a CMD showcase thing. I'm not going. I'm sorry. Yeah, we should do that.
He probably saw your short.
Story?
And was like, he can definitely do it.
Where is he?
Because that guy is so old.
Real original. Truly. Wow, that's crazy.
Starman.
No, but I sat like right in the middle for that. That was great.
Rock, paper, scissors, we run up and...
In between screenings of Damnation and The Man from London. This is an incredible double feature. I want to thank our friends at Arbalos for providing the restoration of Damnation that you're about to see. A round of applause for them. And of course, thank you to Janus Films for providing The Man from London on 35mm. They also provided our...
Good evening. First of all, I would like to say a big thanks for your coming, because today the weather is nice. You know, it's unfair. I don't see you because I'm totally blind.
Very bright tonight.
You know, that was this Jonathan Rosenbaum wrote it. He divided my oeuvre for 2 parts. And I just remember when Susan Sontag was very angry for him because he said she cannot believe I'm going to bed Monday and waking up Tuesday as a different person. It's not.
All right, time now is 12:45 on June 9th, after midnight. Yeah, I just came back home not too long ago, so I'm gonna quickly talk about today, and then that's it, I'm done, I'm going to bed. So again, scam call thing, they pretty much stopped calling me. I should be okay, honestly. I overreacted a little bit, my grandma overreacted too much, but it shouldn't be that scary. I feel like it will take them a while. If they were to dig deeper into me to find out that I'm a pro-democracy Hong Konger, and even so, they would have to care enough to bring this up to the police station. I'm just too paranoid. There are too many pro-democracy Hong Kongers here, so it'll take them a while for them to find out that I am one. Anyways, I asked Ken if we are going to eat some food, because the film starts at 7:30 and we're pretty much going to be stuck in Aero Theater for like 4 hours. And he's like, yeah, but you have to come soon. So I'm like, okay. So at around 5:20, I left, and I took a bus and I walked over to Ken's apartment, and I met his roommate, which is a white woman, Isabella, who is kind of a Y2K, I wouldn't say emo, but a little dressed as a little street, I don't know how to describe it. A little fashionable. And I went to his room for the first time. It's quite nice, really nice place, honestly, really spacey. And, you know, we talked a little bit, we talked about Film 33, of course we had to talk about that. And, we just chatted. Apparently she's a philosophy major, but she used to be a film major, and she took film 1. She didn't go through 31, 32, 33. She didn't go through the saga at all. So she hearing how I described 33 was absolutely insane. And she got intrigued. She's like, it sounds horrible, but also kind of fun at the same time. And that's true. It is like that. You know, 33 to me is like a Game of Thrones in real life. Anyways, apparently another guy is going to join. His name is Aiden. And Aiden knows me by my full freaking name. Like my full English name for some reason. And I'm like, why? But Aiden didn't show up in the apartment. So Ken called an Uber and we directly went to the Aero Theater, and we had about 45 minutes. So we went to Whole Foods. He led us to Whole Foods, and he bought a box of sushi, which is $16 fucking for some reason. Instead, I got myself a $9 sandwich, a horseradish roast beef sandwich, which actually tastes pretty good, plus a small fruit juice drink. A lot of the other drinks in Whole Foods is expensive as fuck. And after buying it, it was only $11.40, which is amazing. Actually, it's lunch and it's cheap as hell and it's enough calories. Except outside of Whole Foods, there's a little sitting area. I tried to put down my camera bag, and I guess I just wasn't careful enough. But half of the sandwich flipped into the air and smacked onto the ground. Or more like 1/4 of the sandwich. And that fucking sucked. Like, usually I'm super careful, and those things usually don't happen at all. And also when I opened the bottle of juice, some juice splashed on my shirt. Again, I don't know why. Maybe I'm tired. I don't know what's going on with me. Usually that shit never happens. So I used my bare hands to tear out the part of the sandwich that is on the ground and ate the rest. And that's not just the lettuce and bread part. That is the beefy parts. That's the beef and cheese part, the good part. I have to eat it. And I'm hungry as fuck, so I ate it up. I used my bare hands too, which fucking sucked, but hopefully it hadn't touched anything too dirty yet. And after that, Aiden finally showed up. Tall white guy with long hair, orange hair, redhead, that's the word. And he knows me because he was there in the CMD Student Showcase Film Festival. And, he saw my short films and he really liked it. He said there are only 3 short films, or 4, because I submitted 2. He said there were only 3 that impressed him. One was the Argentinian Dog, the animation short film, which I loved, my favorite. The other is Azizim by Alci Rengifo, which is the same guy who wrote the 33 short film. That one I don't really care for. It's the highest production value, but also, come on. And then it's me. Thank you. Gracias. And then we walked over to Aero. He got himself a cornbread. Isabella got herself a grilled cheese and chicken sandwich, goat cheese chicken sandwich. And then we walked over to Aero Theater. And apparently my ticket is supposed to be with the guy, Aiden. Not Aiden the hidden Hong Konger. Aiden 2, I guess. But he forgot to buy it, and it didn't work for him. Because as a Aero Theater member, he couldn't buy 2 tickets. He can only buy 1. And then we went to the counter at the Aero Theater, and he asked if he could buy 2 tickets. And apparently that's not supposed to be a thing. Somehow Ken was able to do it. And so the counter woman was nice enough to allow him to buy 2 tickets, but never again. Like we can't do this normally. So I lucked out, or else otherwise I would have come all the way for nothing. So I went in to watch Damnation by Bella Tarr. Before walking into the theater, while outside of Whole Foods, we saw an old guy with a cane and like 3 other people around him who are a little younger. And Ken was like, "Is that him?" And like, "Who?" He's like, "Bella Tarr, literally right there." Turns out it is him. And it's this little wine store, but Bella Tarr literally right in front of us walked by. And I was going to secretly film it, but it was too late. Yeah, anyways, went to Aero Theater, watched Damnation, saw Bella Tarr come in, said a couple lines, and then he left. And then we watched Damnation, and honestly, not that great. It's not bad. I love the cinematography. I love a lot of the shots. It's very Tarkovsky-esque. But also, I almost fell asleep multiple times. And I would be very embarrassed if I really fell asleep, like, beside Ken, who is such a film enthusiast. But in the first half, I almost fell asleep, like, 4 times. But the second half, there are a lot of shots that are just amazing. But there goes my rice. There are a lot of shots that are amazing, but overall I'm kind of lukewarm about it. I'm feeling a 7 out of 10. Afterwards, we have the Q&A session with Bella Tarr, which I think is just fantastic. It's a lot more entertaining than the film itself. The guy's really funny. the guy, like a lot of people are like very artsy about it, like, ooh, Bellatar, like, ooh, I love the walls, I love how you film the walls, like the Mao food, the feel of the walls, oh, I love the long takes. And he's just like, bro, a lot of people treat this film like it's some revolution. It's not. And someone like was like, oh, in this age of Netflix and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, like, how I want to preserve film, like literal film, like, what would you do? And Bellatar twisted that question, didn't really answer it, instead started to say, well, just film with your phone. Because a lot of people nowadays, a lot of kids nowadays, wait and want money, but you can literally just film anything on this fucking phone. Some kid was like, oh, I love this film. I love the ending shot to the Turin horse. I mean, how did you do it? And Bellatar is like, that's not even a question. And then the guy stood up again, and Bellatar was like, okay, next. And that guy sat down, and it was kind of awkward. But yeah, overall, it's a really fun Q&A. It was really funny. And then we left, and we thought we couldn't take it anymore. Ken sort of liked it. Aiden too liked it in general. But we just couldn't stand another super slow, ultra slow paced black and white film. That is 2 hours long, like nearly 2.5 hours long. And that's another deep cut from the guy. So we just decided to leave. We had a very good conversation. Isabella is a fan of Tool, the band, and Evangelion, and we talked about that a little bit. And then, like, Aiden too, he would mention, like, oh, I watched Tokyo Story the other day, A Woman in the Dunes, and I know those two films because I've seen them. So, you know, I'm really cultured. I look like shit today. Like, both of them, everyone dressed very fashionably. Like, Ken dressed in a very nice Ken-style clothing, and everyone dressed kind of Y2K. Meanwhile, I dressed like a homeless person. I looked like I literally came out of the slums. And I wore literally the same outfit as I have worn in the Death Grip show. And I look terrible with my mustache and everything, but I know my shit, you know, I make movies. Also, I literally know everyone. Like, Isabella mentioned Jacob, and I'm like, Jacob as in the tall black guy with a hat in Friday 32. I know that guy. And then she mentioned Christian, who would bring in peanut butter green apple sandwiches, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Christian Castillo. I know that guy. That guy's like a DP for my short film. And Ken's like, yep, this guy knows everyone. And even for the next film 33, I already know what's going to happen. I already know like a good half of the class. Like, I have so much connections. It's actually insane. So yeah. Anyways, we took an Uber back home. Ken called it. And yada yada. Had a phone call with my second aunt. Yeah, about the CMD showcase. I low-key wish I could have gone to CMD just so that I could meet up with Cliff again, talk to Benny a little bit, talk to Leslie. And also apparently Rachel, the other interesting hidden Hong Konger who was part of my college's film program, she was there. And I DM'd her. I was like, oh, you're there? That's crazy. And she thought when she was at CMD, apparently there was a dolly grip, like they were doing some filmmaking in front of the people, and there was a dolly grip, and it's an Asian guy. I don't know who it is, but I have a few guesses. And she thought that was me, and I said, no, I wasn't there. I'm not there. And so, whoops. But it's okay, because I feel like sometime in the future, I will run into her somehow. So that's that. But it's interesting because she's never seen Pepper in real life in person. If she had seen me in person before she had even seen Pepper, that would be really funny. But yeah, anyways, there's that connection. Again, had a tiny phone call with Michelle. I talked about that already, but mainly, I told Michelle if she sees Leslie again, please tell her Enoch literally can't speak to you. If you have deleted all your socials, literally can't speak to you. I would like to, but I literally can't. I mean, I can text her, but I use an Android. I don't text, okay? download WhatsApp again and speak to me from there, okay? You little doofus. Yeah, we'll see. And I hate that I have to be the one who makes a move because I feel like Leslie will never make a move. But one thing for sure is that I have the upper hand now. Like, I'm chilling. I can go weeks without Leslie. It would be painful for me, but again, I've said this many times. I can endure the pain. She can't. Yeah. Again, even if Michelle didn't relay the message to Leslie, it's fine. She'll have to figure this shit out on her own. But one good thing about me not turning up to CMD today is that I haven't had a haircut. If I had a haircut tomorrow, and then I return to CMD, I would look like a new man. And that's what I want to show, and that is like, after film 33, I have a character change haircut, so, that's that. Nothing else. I'm gonna eat dinner now. It's like 1 a.m., but fuck it. And then I'll watch Rushmore, edit some videos, and then I am done. I also forgot to mention that at some point, Jonathan DM'd me today, because I DM'd him some memes, and he said, given what happened between him, Carly, and Cuccio, at the end of the shoot, if Carly comes to the rap party, he will not come. So, damn. And he said, Cuccio showed that he has favorites. He has favoritism, which is true. And Carly is not old enough to talk about hard topics. He's not adult enough to do that. So that's pretty funny and interesting. Yes. Alright, time now is 10:38 a.m. on June 9th. It appears that my acne has come back. I slept from 3:30 to 10:30. 7 hours, but I woke up like 3 times in the middle. As you can tell by my hair, my sleep was terrible. It was fucking terrible. I woke up like a couple times in the middle. I literally left my bed and went outside to turn on the aircon again at 8:10 a.m. And I went back and I couldn't fall asleep for about like half an hour or so. It was pretty awful. I feel like ever since I come to the USA, my insomnia is fixed. But then this film 33 has ruined it again. That's actually why I'm in my pajamas and, I haven't fixed my hair, just to show you guys how terrible my sleep is. Yeah, I had a few dreams, chopped up, vague, hazy here and there. One in particular is Tova and another person, a PA, I believe, I forgot who it is, but they were moving some stuff at CMD, and then suddenly Leslie was waiting outside of a gate or a door, and when Tova walked past, Leslie was like, "Oh, hey, how's Enoch doing?" And Tova told me that, and I'm like, oh my god, Leslie wants me. Oh, what am I gonna do when I see Leslie next time? Ooh, she desperately wants me. And then I realized, oh, it's just a dream. It didn't happen in real life. But yeah, I mean, even so, given that Leslie mentioned my name to Michelle and Leslie talked to Benny and Ariel about me, again, to a degree, I think she wants me. Let's be honest here. This fucking idiot guy, my hair looks like a fucking pancake. Yeah, she wants me to a degree. Yeah, okay, so today, it's gonna be a little fun. Today's a Friday, and at 1, I'm going to meet up with Aiden, the hidden Hong Konger, and we're gonna go all the way to Monterey Park and San Gabriel. We're gonna have lunch, probably. We're gonna go have a haircut, most importantly, and then maybe we'll go buy some stuff. We'll go photo shoot. We'll find ourselves a park, like a skate park or something, and then at night we'll go back to the college campus to return his camera. I've already returned mine. I don't have to worry about that. And that's the plan. He's rather a quiet person, and I had to proactively DM him on Instagram to make sure that tomorrow is happening. Yesterday, I had to proactively text him about tomorrow. So hopefully he does show up today to pick me up to bring me to Monterey Park and stuff. And with that said, with the haircut done today, I don't have to have a haircut on Sunday, so I don't have to go to church, which means that on Sunday I can rest. Also, apparently tomorrow the plan is I'm gonna go to Thomas's place to help with the podcast. I'll have to wake up early, a little suffering, but it's okay. Yeah, actually, I don't really have to do that, because one of the guests on Sunday moved to Saturday, so I have nothing to do if I go to Thomas's place. So, yay, I have nothing to do tomorrow. Great news, I can sleep all day, once again. So, yeah, that's it.
LA 嗰單還佢冇聽唱。
哦。平時我返學我都唔遮個頭，即係我起身咁濕少水咁就算。
我初頭遮咯，後尾我見唔到戴帽。
Alright, time now is 2:21 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, somewhat interesting day, semi-interesting day. I left the apartment at around 2 p.m. I'm supposed to meet the guy at 1 p.m. and I already thought maybe it's a little too late. But I ended up leaving my apartment at 2 p.m. Turns out, he picked me up at 2:15, and me and Aiden, the hidden Hong Konger, we drove all the way to Rosemead. So I didn't eat lunch because I'm low-key expecting to have lunch outside, and we actually did. And we arrived at around 3:20 at Rosemead. There's a restaurant called Bay Island Cafe, and the Chinese name is Tongluan something. And Tongluan means Causeway Bay. So it's kind of funny. We went there and I ordered, like dried fry beef noodles is the literal translation of gonchang. But the dish I ordered is sapcao, which is wet fried, which is really weird, and I got interested. And that plus milk tea, because it's been a while since I've had milk tea, and it's in a gigantic cup. And apparently it's really like wet noodles. Really wet, a lot of cornstarch, sort of beef noodles, and I enjoyed it. The plate is too big though, because the thing is, East LA Chinese food all come in gigantic proportions. So I literally cannot finish it. I finished all the beef and the vegetables, which are great, but I was so full. And then he ordered like a chicken rice. And then after that, at some point he left his seat to buy some vape at a vape shop next door. But yeah, we had lunch together, which is great and all. And I also brought my camera with me. I snapped a picture, but it literally means nothing. I was thinking maybe I could submit it to Photo One as an assignment, but I don't think And then and then after that we decided to go have a haircut. So after that it was like 4:30 or something. And it was kind of late already. So I thought that we're gonna do a photo shoot together. He's gonna bring his camera and I'm gonna bring my Sony a7 III. He's gonna bring his Canon T7 the school provided us. I returned my Canon T7, but because I already have a Sony a7 III, I can keep shooting photos for my Photo 1 assignments. He doesn't have a camera, but when I hopped on the car, he told me that apparently he's already returned his camera. And he has pretty much shot all his assignments. Yesterday he already went out to shoot photos. So today we didn't go photo shooting at the end. I went at the very end, but that's for later. So next stop we went to Zen Salon, the legendary barbershop, the only one that I visit in LA. Zen Salon in Monterey Park. We went there and we parked, and at first I was a little scared because in all the past 3 times I have gone to this barbershop. There are also Sundays. And today's a Friday, and I don't know if... I know it's open, but I think it's like a different bunch of people. So if I walk in there and ask for a woman by the name of Ivy, she probably won't be there. So I went in, and I saw that there are like very few customers. There were like 2 customers, so I got worried. And then a woman stood up and immediately spoke Cantonese to us, automatically assuming that we speak Cantonese, which is great because we both speak Cantonese. And then I asked for a woman named Ivy, and then there's a woman sitting behind me. Oh yeah, that's me. And she was a little confused, and I'm like, oh, you know, half a year ago I went here, and you told me your name so that I could ask for you again. And she's like, oh really? How did you remember that? And I'm like, yes, I just do. I'm just, yeah. So that's it. And right off the bat, like, not only is the customer service going to be great if we speak Cantonese, because if you don't speak Cantonese in Monterey Park, you're the freaking weirdo. But also, given that I know the woman by name, like, she immediately like, oh, you know, take a seat, you know, do you want to wash your hair? And I'm like, sure. So so she washed my hair, and then she gave me a haircut for like a whole hour. And I was pretty confident because the last time she gave me a haircut, it was kind of good, satisfactory. I was satisfied. It looked really short at first, but after 1 week, it looked fresh as fuck. It was actually pretty great. And I was pretty satisfied. Like, during my Japan trip, the hair looked fine. So, like, right off the bat it didn't, but, you know, after a week it was okay. It was pretty good, actually. So I had my trust in her, but at first, in the beginning of the haircut, I was a little skeptical. I showed her the photo on my phone of how I looked back in 2021, and I'm like, can you recreate this? That's the photo I show every single fucking time, by the way. And so essentially it's simple, like short here, on the top, short, but like leave a little bit so that the hair would grow forward, so that I would have like bangs, just a little bit, you know. But for some reason, at first, she only trimmed like a little bit here and a little bit there, and it's still kind of thick. And it's sort of like it goes up, and then it's like this, and then goes down. So like this, but exaggerated, and you can see both corners, which is ugly as fuck. So for a while, I was actually kind of worried. Even though she's nice, and we talked a bit, she was like, oh, your hair is so black and thick. It's so awesome. And then I also speak very quietly and elegantly. And she's like, wow, your mom must really, really love you. Like, you're a really good boy. You speak quietly. And then she asked me about, like, school and, like, if I have siblings. And, like, oh, you know, it makes sense that you would have a haircut because it's going to be summer soon and it's going to be hot. Blah, 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 blah. But at the end, I'm like, oh, can you, like cut off the corners here, and maybe this could be shorter too. At some point this was extremely long, and she tried to like swipe all my hair to my right side, and I didn't like that. I wanted to go front. But at the end it ended up looking like this, which is fine. It's satisfactory. A little unnatural right now because I'm so used to seeing myself in gigantic puffy hair that this is a little unnatural. but I like this actually. I low-key think this is pretty good. I can't wait to go back to CMD at some point and they will just see, oh my god, it's a new man. A character change haircut. So there's that. And after the haircut, it was like 5:30. And I still wanted to go somewhere to shoot some photos for my photo 1 assignment. So there are like a bunch of assignments. I will have to submit them all at once. And it's friggin' there's motion, there's depth of field, there's black and white, there's portraits, there's in my life, where you have to take 5 photos that tell stories. And there's I forgot, I think that's it. There's nighttime photography. So nighttime and black and white, I've nailed them because I've taken enough photos during my Film 33 shoot and also in my free time. And also that one photo yesterday at the Aero Theater that, you know, pretty good. Portraits, I think I have enough photos. In the document, in the guidelines, the professor said it should include 1 self-portrait. But it's like, oh, make sure to include 1 cool self-portrait. The way he worded it makes it seem like it's a joke. And I told that to Aiden, and he's like, what really? Did he really say that? So it should be fine. But I will be including self-portrait. I did have a very cool mirror self-photo, a mirror selfie from the Film 33 shoot in Frank's house in Encino. I'm going to be including that. So that should be cool. It's the 2 assignments that I'm worried about the most is really motion and in my life, because I have no idea what to shoot in my life. But that's also really cool because I get a lot of creative freedom. With motion, I really need to find people like doing sports, like skateboarding or playing basketball. And I can't find them at all unless someone drives me to Venice Park or something. So instead, we went to this place called Barnes Park in Monterey Park. And it's a very small park with a gigantic grass field where a bunch of kids were playing like football, like soccer. And then there's this tennis ball court where people are playing tennis and some people are playing crickets, whatever, like hitting a ball with a wooden bat, with a wooden racket. I think that's cricket. I don't know. And so I snapped some photos there. They weren't great, but I tried my best. Leave me alone. I won't get an A for this assignment, but it's okay. As long as I get more than 90%, I'm happy. Yeah, and then I also took a couple photos for depth of field, which is easy. And then I'm done, and then I think I have enough photos to submit all of the assignments for photo 1 all at once. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. Yeah, in the meantime, we drove back home. He drove me back home. That's it. And I was a little scared at first because I and Aiden, at the end of the day, even though we've seen each other like 5-6 times already, we don't talk to each other much. He doesn't know me as much. I don't know him as much. And out of my grade, you know, I grade people. Like, ultra super close friends include Michelle. I think she's the closest to me as of now. Potter to a degree because I share so much personal shit to him. Pepper used to be A. He's gone down to like B. Leslie used to be A. She's gone down to B as of now. Cliff is amazing, and I would say he's one of my closest friends. But I don't tell him all my personal shit because he isn't that type of person. So I'd say B, but B+. And that's like pretty much it. And then we have, you know, oh yeah, sure, we're friends, kinda. Like Benny. I would say C. Like if we see each other, we're like, hey, but normally I wouldn't fucking text the guy. Normally he wouldn't text me either. And then we have people that, you know, I see them and we're like, yay, happy, but like, I'm not that close to them. Like, I don't know, freaking Brie. I won't randomly spill personal shit to Brie or Jonathan. And then E would just be a stranger, I feel like. And Ken, I would say like a B or C. But you know, Aiden feels like a grade C to me. So I was a little worried. I was worried that it's going to be like Kevin, the Hong Konger, all over again. You know, Pepper introduced me to this guy who was a Hong Konger. I met up with him once. It was kind of awkward. We didn't talk a lot. Our personalities don't match. We never hung out ever again. We never spoke with each other again. And it was really awkward, and Pepper feels sorry. I'm scared that it's going to be that in a repeat. But not really. Actually, I and Aiden talk pretty well. I think partially it's because my socializing skills have gone way better. He's a quiet guy, and our personalities don't match a lot either. But I can joke some, and he will laugh. We talked about quite a few things. We talked about photo 1. We talked about like Hong Kong versus America. You know, if I see another Hong Konger here, I would talk about that a lot. You know, food there, food here, the streets there, the streets here, the public transportation system there, the public transportation system here. We talked about movies a little bit. At some point we talked about the police, and he hates the police. Apparently he's been searched and asked for an ID card multiple times, like 5-6 times in Hong Kong by the police. That has never happened to me, thankfully. But he really hates the police. Thank God he doesn't like them. I also told him how, you know, my mom, my parents want me to like study in Beijing or something, and he's like, bro, that's garbage. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? But yeah, you know, it worked well. And he's like, oh, you know, maybe we can hang out again sometime soon. So I'm like, yeah. So that's that. Came back home. I was so full. I went to the bathroom, and then I waited until very late until I cooked dinner. Around like 11, I started cooking dinner, and then I had a 3-hour and 20-minute long Discord call with Michelle. It was too long, so much so that I don't think I have time to do any art history homework. I don't have the time to edit my short film at all. I don't have the time to edit my Japan vlogs at all. I don't have the freaking time to watch Succession season 4 episode 3, because my call with Michelle went that long. But it's a good time calling her, and we also ordered tickets to the Spider-Verse movie, which we will be seeing on Sunday. But yeah. So a few minor interesting things. Thomas texted me today telling me that he got into NYU Tisch for screenwriting, which is pretty fucking insane. Congratulations. I don't know how it happened, but yay. Next thing is, apparently last night at the CMD showcase, Michelle saw Kat. And Kat is a wise person. Smart and also wise. And because the last time I saw Kat, or the last time I saw Kat, it was at the Student Showcase Film Festival at CMD, and I and Leslie, that was May 20th, I and Leslie sat at the table, and I looked at her in a very loving, endearing way, and Kat could immediately tell that I'm head over heels in love with Leslie. And when Michelle saw Kat today, Kat asked Michelle, how is Enoch and Leslie? And Michelle's like, I mean, they're doing good. I mean, they're both dying, you know. They're both a hot mess in their own different ways. You know why, you know, it's interesting. They're interesting, you know. They went through the ends and means shoot together, you know, and Kat's like, I see. And then Kat made a joke saying, like, I and Michelle should marry because she has a green card and I don't. And that's the thing that Udav does. Like, Udav always asks girls if he could marry them. It was a weird, awkward moment, but that's pretty much it. And apparently, Cliff was there too, and Cliff said hi to Michelle and Evelyn. Evelyn talked to Michelle about me, and then Michelle told me to text Evelyn back yesterday, so that's what I did. I did text Evelyn back. I told her, oh, Film 33 is like a disaster. So, and Evelyn was like, oh, wow, shit, you know. And finally, the other interesting thing is, Leslie's back on WhatsApp. I checked her profile because I'm a fucking stalker. And she's last seen at 1 a.m. today. So basically yesterday. And still she hadn't read my text on WhatsApp. Maybe she's too scared to. I wouldn't be shocked. But again, it's a waiting game. I'm low-key glad that Leslie's back on WhatsApp though. Also, today Michelle clarified like her interaction with Leslie when Michelle asked Leslie, okay, what are you going to do? As in, like, Leslie told Michelle how I confessed my love to her for a whole hour straight. And Michelle's like, oh, so what are you going to do, Leslie? Leslie's like, I don't know. And it's, according to Michelle, it's not like, I don't know as in, I really don't know what I'm about to do. It's, I don't know as in, I hate doing an impersonation, leave me alone. As in, like, she wants to do something about it. But she said she doesn't know. But it's clear that she wants to do something about it. So we'll see. I don't realize this until now, but I'm actually putting Leslie through a very harmful test, and harmful to me. Because that's what I did with Pepper. I isolated myself from Pepper, and I found out that I don't love her at all. So if I'm isolating myself from Leslie, I'm actually giving Leslie a gigantic chance to not love me at all. And I know Leslie probably doesn't love me now, but hopefully Leslie at least have some feelings for me. So I'm actually really putting myself in a very threatening position. It's actually quite harmful to me. But hey, at least I look fresh as fuck now, so that's that. Can't wait to not do anything tomorrow. Alright, time now is 1:34 p.m. on June 10th. Yeah, I slept from 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. But I woke up like 3-4 times in the middle. I don't think I truly fell asleep until like 5 something or 6 something a.m. I don't know why. It's just I just couldn't immediately fall asleep. And then I got interrupted. I think it's because of the whole AC thing, the whole aircon thing, but I got interrupted at around 11 or 12. And then for a good chunk from 12 to 1 p.m. I wasn't even asleep. So yeah, but I had a couple of interesting dreams, both of which are also related to Film 33, or at least taking classes. The first one is a very creepy dream where someone planted a flower and the flower kept growing, and the leaves and the trunks, the stems started to like tangle me, and I ran down the stairwell, and then an old woman was following me, and it was very creepy, and I felt a great sense of dread. And then in the second dream, I was actually in Film 41, using measuring tape to measure focus, because I was first AC. And then Leslie randomly walked up to me and said something to me in Mandarin, and she said it so fast I didn't pick up, so I said, "Shema?" Like, what? And then she just said, "Never mind," and walked away, and I was like, oh man, I wish I know Mandarin better. And it's the first time Leslie has spoken to me in ages. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of stuff. The measuring tape broke, a film negative broke, and then apparently there's a biology exam, Ray Biology. There's a biology exam tomorrow, and I have to study biology, and stuff like that. Yeah, so today, originally, Thomas wants me to help him set up his podcast, and Alba supposedly went there in the morning, and then in the afternoon I was originally going to be in the podcast as one of the interviewees, but one of the guests from Sunday decided to move to Saturday, which means that I have nothing to do if I go there. So I basically have nothing to do today. And then Thomas just at around 8 a.m. Thomas called me twice asking me to come because he wants to interview me again today. Bitch, it's 1 p.m. already, and I'm not planning to do anything today. I have a bunch of art history class homework that I have to finish, so you know what? Fuck it. I will not go. I will stay home and finish my art history homework as much as possible. I'll try to finish 3 art history homeworks. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna submit my Photo One photos, and that's the plan for today. I'm gonna watch a couple episodes of Succession. I'm gonna watch a film tonight. I'm gonna film a review. I'm gonna continue working on my short film, subtitles, edit my Japan vlog. I'm just gonna chill the whole day, stay in the apartment. That's it. I don't need anything else. I just want some peace and quiet. So that's the plan for today, really. Nothing else. I spoke with Cliff a little bit, and of course the call with Michelle, and learned more about Film 41 next semester, because it is the hot new thing on the block. A lot of people want to take it, including Betsy. Apparently Betsy's taking it alongside 33, which is insane. Absolutely insane. And I asked Cliff that too. Are you taking Film 41 and 33 at the same time? That's fucking insane. Because 41 is like super practical hands-on cinematography, and 33 is like death. It's basically hell. How are we going to handle both classes at the same time? And Cliff is like, yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I think I have a higher chance of being DP if I take 41 and 33 at the same time. And I'm like, okay. And Leslie's going to be in that class. So Kat, Betsy, me, Leslie, Cliff in the same class. Now get ready to rumble. And I'm sure a lot of people I know will also be in that class for no particular reason, which is going to be very exciting. So yeah, I'm not in that class because I've yet to crash it, but I'm low-key excited for that class, for real. And I hope Leslie says something to me in the meantime, because I feel like she's just too afraid to take any initiative right now. Unless I go to CMD straight up. I don't know. Alright, time now is 10:39 p.m. Yeah, today is once again, a really peaceful, plain, mundane day where nothing happened. I didn't leave the apartment at all. I didn't speak to anyone in person, in real life at all. Nothing. Just peace and quiet, really. Yeah, I spent a good chunk of the afternoon not doing anything. I don't know why. Time just goes by and you just don't really notice it. I did have a 55-minute long phone call with Tova, which feels a little weird. It's like, oh, she's like Michelle, number 2. It's like, I would call Michelle and I would talk to her a lot about stuff, and now we have Tova, who is just as gossipy. But apparently she's at CMB today because of her Film 50 sound class. And then after this class, it's done. She's done. She's going to leave CMD. More like she's going to leave the school. She'll return to CMD. But, you know, the school is over for her and she will be moving to Santa Cruz at around mid-September. And in the meantime, we should begin working on our documentary about Film 33. So there's that. And I updated her a bunch of stuff. So it's been 6 days since the end of the shoot, but we haven't really truly talked. And there are quite a bit of information, even though I'm fucking out of CMD, you know. It's been a long time since I've been out of CMD for this long. But, yeah, you know, there have been tea left and right, information. So I told that to Tova, and Tova's like, oh my god, holy shit. Wow, the lore goes deep. And yeah, it does go deep, my friend. It does. Yeah, I talked to her a little bit about Benny and Ariel and how they're dating now, and she expressed how she couldn't really connect with Benny anymore because in at school and college, Benny has become such a kiss ass for Kuchio. And you know, Benny's just so political, like too political. Tova's fine being friends with him outside of school, but within the school, it's just not the same. And I mentioned how like couples will be a huge thing. You know, in the next Film 33, like because Zach and Salali are together, that basically ruined the art department simply because that they are together. And then after mentioning Benny and Ariel, Tova talked about how Benny and Ariel together will also mean some things for the next Film 33. Even though Benny's out of Film 33 already, but it will still mean something. And I just again, it's moments like this that I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy, just people being together. And then I thought, oh yeah, like, I and Leslie are supposed to be together. And even though Leslie's not going to be in next film 33, which apparently a lot of people don't know. Tova's like, oh really? When I told Ken that, which I shouldn't have, but fuck it. Whatever the case may be, I will always tell a Taiwanese person what a Chinese person is up to. But, yeah, a lot of people don't know that Leslie's not joining the next 33. But even so, Leslie will be involved, and I will be prying into the next film 33. And so, the fact that if I and Leslie do become together and are a thing, and the chances seem really dim right now, but if we do, like, it's gonna mean things. So there's that. And then not much else. Tova told me that she now believes that Liam is the mole, and it makes sense. Apparently, a long time ago, like right off the bat in like March or early April, Liam told Tova and Benny that he has a secret master plan against Kuchio, and we sort of just brushed it off and ignored that. And then the HR thing happened, and Tova's like, "Oh, maybe it's Liam," and now everything adds up now. Because Liam would tell Trinity Gang, and Trinity Gang would let Thomas know. That's why Thomas is so nervous. That's why Leia is like, no, it's not me. But then Liam had to speak to Leia in private. It all adds up now. We all think it's Liam. I think it's freaking final that it's Liam. So we'll see. And Tova's like, ooh, I gotta call Liam to ask him about this. And I said, well, if you call him, please secretly record the phone call. So I'm fucking on it, baby. And then not much else. Aside from Tova's phone call, nothing all that interesting happened. Kuchio began to post behind-the-scenes photos of ends and means onto Instagram. And some of those photos are by me. And so I reposted some of them on my Instagram stories saying camera emoji, me, raise hand. And after that, Brie immediately tagged me. I mean, she doesn't have to, but thank you. Another thing is the woman from Beijing who directed the Japanese actress reel. She asked me if I have an IMDb page. I said I don't, and she said she could create one for me because she's creating an IMDb page for that actress reel. So thank you, I guess. This is the first time I have ever received an IMDb credit, and it's not freaking ends and means. It's not freaking my college's short film. It's the actor's reel, of course. So there's that. And then that's pretty much it. No news from Leslie. You know, a couple of days ago, I really do think I and Leslie have a chance. Like, I know Leslie right now is like not sure if she wants to be with me or not, but I feel like from 0 to 100, 0 is okay, fuck this guy. 50 is like neutral. 100 is like, oh yeah, I really, really love this guy. I think she's at like, I have a feeling it's 70 something, which is great. I feel like she's too scared to like literally just call me or text me or do anything to me right now. A, she's too scared. B, she doesn't know how to start. She's like me! When I didn't know how to start a conversation with Mary, after not speaking to her for like 4 years, I could only say happy birthday to her. Similarly, we have Leslie. I haven't spoken to her in 6 days, and that's long enough for her to be like, okay, how do I start a conversation with this guy? Well, you just do it. That's how you're gonna learn. But I feel like realistically, if I were to predict the future, I'm going to have to see her in person for us to really talk. And here's how it's going to go down. Again, every time I have conversations with people, it's always like very rehearsed, especially with someone like Leslie. But she'll act all cool and cold-blooded, and she'll act all high and mighty. I have that in mind. I'll see her and I'm like, hi. Or she'll say hi first. I'll be like, hi. And I'll ask, do you want to talk to me? She'll probably say no. No. I'm like, okay. Then why do you keep talking to people about me? And she's like, no, what do you mean? She knows what I mean. And I'll say, well, first of all, you told Benny what happened last Thursday. And then on the next day, you told Ariel about me. And then in the CMD showcase, you told Michelle. She'll probably be a little surprised that I know this much. And she'll be like, how do you know? And I'll just say, well, of course I know everything. I'm the detective. Or if we don't go that route, she'll be like, yeah, I told them. So what? I'll say, well, can you please not tell people? Michelle is fine. I trust her. And Ariel and Benny, I can handle them. I mean, it's coming from this skinny, idiot Asian guy. But I can handle them. But can you stop telling people? And she's like, well, I have the freedom to tell people whatever I want. And I'm like, yeah, well, I have the freedom to tell you not to. Please. And I'm just going to hope you're going to listen. And she's like, okay. And maybe the conversation will end there. And if it doesn't end there, then I'll just let it flow. But if I ever see her in person ever again in my life, this will be how it goes. The thing is, there's so much to catch up on. Like, right after the confession, I have yet to really ask her, how do you feel about me? Like, not only in terms of, oh, this guy's interesting, high quality conversation, but also like, even before, like, when we worked on Breathless together, how did you feel? Have you ever predicted that I will fall in love with you? And like, when I made the confession, how did you feel? Did you know it's you? Did you like force me to say it to you because you can't wait to hear it from me? You know it would be the right time? Like, what's your thought process in that? And then, of course, there's the, why did you act so mean to me? So cold-blooded after the confession? Were you scared? And then there's the shoot. There's something she didn't say to me. And there's something I wanted to say to her on day 5, and I couldn't because she's like, well, say it after the shoot. And then the shoot is over, and now I'm gone. And, again, like, I'm going to tell her all that, just because I'm angry at you doesn't mean I stopped liking you. A. B, you got to be nicer to people. It's fine. If it's your personality to be mean to people, that's fine. At least be nice to me. Please. Because I want it. And now I'm asking you. And, yeah.